Quincy Jones, Claude Nobs disappeared, and today the question is, what is Claude Nobs' legacy? You call yourself his brother. So what does it mean, Claude Nobs' legacy?
Legacy of intertwining all sources of music, all the way back to Les McCann, compared to that, compared to what, and so forth. And he's always had that decategorized concept of music. And one of my proudest possessions, I produced a special with Duke Ellington in 1971, my first television work. And Duke gave me a picture and says, may you be one of the people that helped to decategorize American music. Because everybody's got these categories and all this stuff, and it doesn't work with our music. It doesn't work. You should play whatever you know how to play. There's only 12 notes. And Nadia Boulanger said it until God gives us 13. Find out what everybody did with those 12 notes. It's very interesting. Brahms, Bach, Beethoven, Basie, Bird, Bo Diddley, same 12 notes.
When was the very first time you met Claude?
First time I met Claude was at an Atlantic Records party with the Erdigans, who were old friends of mine from Turkey. And I worked with them when I was like 19 to 20 and in New York, rehearsing bands and arrangements and so forth. And I met Claude with Donna Summer.
And what kind of a man did he appear to be when you first met him?
No, but you know, I can identify my brothers immediately. No, people that have the same interests, there's something intuitive about how they identify each other immediately. And it happened immediately too. We were both working for Warner Brothers then, and he was the Warner Brothers distributor in Switzerland. And we were very aware of our mutual interests and common interests. That's what pulls people together. That's the bond.
How would you define these common interests?
Well, the common interest is in everything. It's in the kind of food you eat. It's like the Freddy Jarrettes come up to eat and cook there. You know, the kind of fun you like to have. There's many different things. Music's the music you like, you know. How open is your mind in terms of not categorizing music and so forth. And I think at our first meeting, we were very aware of it. We had the same perspective on life, you know, as a 360 human being, from food especially, because we both love food, you know. And it happens like that. That's something you can't plan, you know. And that's the way the divinity works. You recognize your brother right away.
Fantastic. When we look at all the festivals, all the concerts that exist in the world, Montreux is one place among others. What made you choose to really invest yourself so much into the Montreux Jazz Festival?
Claude. Because of Claude and what Claude has done, you know, his history, you know, and a friendship, mutual interests, all of that, and the food, I must say.
But without Claude, can things continue just as they were before?
They have to, and we must do everything we can to see to it that nobody comes up with something that's going to go counter what his dreams were about. Very important.
Today,
because it takes vision.
Today, UNESCO has recognized these archives, these 5,000 hours of archives as part of the memory of the world, and you personally involved yourself, you supported the idea.
Well, we're partners in that now. Yeah, we're partners.
What is, in your opinion, the main advantage of this recognition?
The recognition is taking a reasonably new music compared to Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms, because in Europe you have virtuosity, you have concerts and concert music, you know, and the influences from Africa is life force music. They imitate birds, they imitate monkeys and animals and nature, and it's life force. It's not for any monetary gain or anything else. It's to make life easier. They have circumcision rites, elephant hunts, work songs, field hollows. They used it in slavery in the States too. That's how a lot of it came to America, you know. And to make your work easier, and make your life easier through music, you know.
Quincy, you have such a great experience. It's your birthday this year, your birthday.
Yeah. 80.
80. And having seen the evolution, having seen what the music was versus today, this recognition is not the proof that, in a way, the world evolves in the way it accepts a music that so far, for a long time, was simply considered as a lower music, or a music that
That's
the
right.
civilization didn't want to accept.
Well, that's right. Well, that's all also because that's why I said it's more sociological than cultural. And on the East Coast, we had a problem because there was a lot of racism, and the people that they were in charge of the slaves banned the drums in 1692 because they thought it was just about communication. And it was about communication, but a lot of other things too. It's part of their life, really. And they banned the drums to make, it was the idea of the ruling culture making midgets out of these people so they can feel like giants.
When I see you, and I see you, remember all the pictures of you with Neil Armstrong and so many people that you've met in your life, coming from the culture that has to struggle so much, and knowing where you are now, how do you feel personally when you think that today you're recognized as a sir in a civilization that finally recognized it? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Well, I did my homework, though. I worked very hard. I didn't have a mother. My mother went to Boston University when, in the 1920s. She knew 12 languages and everything else, but when we were 7 years old, my brother and I watched her take her away in a straitjacket to a mental hospital. She had dementia praecox. And so I didn't have a mother. And so I had to kind of figure out the problems in life myself. And my dad's second wife was like the woman that was in Precious, you know. You see Precious, the movie? Mm-hmm. She was mean. And I said to myself, if I don't have a mother, I don't need one. I'm going to let music be my mother. And I did. I gave everything I had to music, and it never let me down. Arranging and composing, everything. And one great thing about music, in conjunction with mathematics, that it always puts the left and right brain in motion. And that means that the people that study music seriously can learn everything easier than the kids that don't that study music, you know. Because it's left and right brain all the time, the intellect and the emotion, always, always.
When you think of the influence that the musicians recognize from you, I want to give you an example. The people of Chicago Blues, for instance, Billy Branch. Billy Branch, who is part of Chicago Blues, wrote a song recently in which he talks about you and talks about Jerry's Palm Tavern. Do you remember Jerry's?
Yeah.
Because you used to play there in all the great. Can you tell me a few words about it? Because he's writing a song that's coming out.
Well, that was when I was very young, though. I mean, I wasn't in music then. I didn't get into music till I was 11 years old. But my father, Chicago, music was all over Chicago. It's some irony that most of jazz is in northern cities: Seattle, Minneapolis, New York, Chicago, Sweden, you know, Scandinavia, Milano. It's very interesting, but it's mostly northern cities. And I didn't understand. I heard all kinds of music in Chicago, but my father was a carpenter for very tough gangsters, black gangsters, the Jones Boys. That was not our relatives. He built homes for them. And every day I saw dead bodies. I saw Tommy guns and stogies and stuff. It was in the 30s during the Depression in Chicago. 5 million black people.
When you look at the way music evolves today, electronic music and things that all have, of course, the same background originally, how do you judge the evolution today? Is the music still as creative, as invented as when you were young?
No. Some young people, yes, but for the most part, the nature of what the music is does not call for the work that you must put into to prepare yourself with the science of it. You know, you have to know the science. The emotion comes automatically, but you have to know the science too. And if I have Pro Tools, all those machines, if you don't understand music, you work for the machine. And if you do understand music, the machine works for you. That's the way it was designed, you know. And they've had synthesizers like 35 and 40 years ago. They could write arrangements. They cost $250,000 a piece, and they sound like machines, you know. But they're still a machine. It does not have the soul to sit and create music like a human mind does. No way.
Today, it's our role and our duty to keep the spirit of Claude. What advice would you give us in order to keep alive that spirit?
Well, what we're doing is I have a group called the Quincy Jones Global Gumbo All-Stars. My kids are from 11 to 14. We have a gypsy guitar player from Slovakia. They played like George Benson when he was 10. We have an 11-year-old girl who's been writing classical music since she was 5 for symphony orchestras. We have a singer from Canada. We have a Cuban piano player that I would put up against anybody on the planet. And so they are bringing personally, they're bringing the quality of music back up, way up, man. And you hear that these kids are blind Japanese piano player, Take 6, and we got amazing people tomorrow night. The best I could find, because it's for Claude. It's not about my birthday, it's about Claude. And we got the best we could to salute him.
We can't wait to see that tomorrow.
It's going to blow your mind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I promise you.